Hello, and welcome to the studio of the beautiful lights, dedicated to displaying the most beautiful objects in the world, presenting them in the most glamorous of lights, to the most perfect state of lighting, to display its entire beauty in a perfect state. The studio of beautiful lights will always achieve perfection in the ways that which they display true beauty. Oh, welcome to Zap of the Month. I'm Pete T. It is the month of July. The month of July. I really don't have much to say about the month of July because pretty much the few things that happen is the 4th of July, and that's only for America. At least everywhere has a 4th of July. Everywhere has a 4th of July, but we're the only ones who make a big deal about its existence, okay? But it is kind of a big deal. It exists, and as an American, I need everyone to know it's a big deal that the 4th of July exists. I mean, the entire month of July is kind of a big deal that it exists. I mean, Julius Caesar was like talking to his people one day, and he was like, guys, you know what? I need a month. And they're like, listen, well, Caesar, you are kind of in charge. If you wanna take a month, you can have a month. And he was like, okay, we're gonna name it July. Like, oh, you mean you want to add it? I thought he was talking about a vacation. And that's how we have the month of July, everyone. And with that in mind, I was thinking, I want my own month. Why can't I have my own month? I want my own month. But the question being, what should I call this month? Well, I was doing some thinking. Every good name that sounds like it's legit in like old naming stuff or fits within there is going to have some type of Latin roots to it, as in a lot of English things that we say actually does. But in particular, I was thinking, you got Petron or Petros or Petron or Petra, and then you petrified, and then you have, and where this Petra stuff comes from, where I'm talking about this is my name, Peter, or Pete, if you prefer to refer to me as Pete, which I don't mind. You could refer to me as Pete or Peter. Just don't call me Joe, because that's not my name. Now, back to the Petra stuff, is my name comes from that over there. Because Petra is the Latin, you have the Petron, Petron. That has in itself, that is the Latin variant of, or at least where we kind of get the variant of the name that which Peter in the Bible in Hebrew is referred to. That's where the Latin, and then all the Latin languages derive their variant from that, and that is where we get Peter from the word Petron. That in mind, this is where I think I think my month. No, I know my month is going to be called. It will be called. It's not going. It will be called Petrober. And you're probably wondering, well, are we going to add days to the year? Are you going to take away a month or days from a certain... No. We don't have to do any of that. Don't worry. It's going to be very simple. It's going to exist. It's going to be a one-day month. So we don't have to radically change the calendar. It will exist only for one single day. And that day will be between September 1st and September 3rd. September 1st and September 3rd. Between those 2 days is where we will have Petrober. Why then? Well, I will explain that later at another date, another time. And then at that time, I'll also explain what will be the activities of the month of Petrober, because every month kind of has its activities. January, you're frozen. February, you're a little less frozen. Well, depending on where you're living, you're a little less frozen. Maybe some outdoor activities start happening. March, you start talking about flowers and stuff. April, more so flowers. And you have May, and it's starting to get hot. And then June comes around, and you're starting to die from the heat. July comes around, and it's about the same as June. Let's be honest, not much change. August hits, and then all suddenly everything is hot, but it's now damp at the same time. And then around September, things start anyways, it kind of starts lessening to a degree, and you gotta have more outdoor activity type stuff, and that's where you have Labor Day weekend and things like that. And then comes along the final months, which is more about like fall and winter, and then you have Christmas break and all that kind of good stuff, and being thankful, and there's thankful within there and stuff like that. So there will be activities associated with the month of Petrober, and I will explain them when we get closer to that month. It's not that I don't know yet, because I definitely know what I'm doing here, definitely. But I just need to keep your mind at ease that there will be a plan. There is a plan. There is a plan, a very solid plan. But we are in the month of July right now, and what is coming up is July 4th. And we'll get to celebrate, we'll get to have fireworks, and we will have a good time. Hopefully. Because this year has been the big year of, I wasn't planning on doing this year. I wasn't thinking I would have to do this year. Oh, this is different. Oh, this isn't. Okay. 2020. You gotta love 2020 though. It's like it's the year where you have people being like, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Then it happens. It's the year where everyone is like, something's not gonna happen, and then it happens. Where you think about the thing that you don't think's gonna happen, and it's going to and it happens because it's 2020. 2020 isn't the worst. It can be. I mean, things could get worse. Things could possibly get much worse. Looking forward to 2021. But guess what? We are more than halfway there now. We are more than halfway there. We're going to make it. That's all the time I have. Please, if you like this video, hit that like button. It's a nice button to hit. Want to leave a comment? Leave a comment. If you want to see more, subscribe. And as always, please excuse me while I fade away gradually until coming to an end. 2020